Hello and welcome back to the stream. Yay, it's Friday night. I actually fell asleep just before, like about 20 minutes ago. I just sat down on my electric blankie on the bed and I said, I don't know, I was looking at my phone thinking about what to stream today, and next thing I know, I was like coming to. I was like, oh, wakey time. It's yeah, it's that kind of weather where you just want to snuggle. You just want to be on. Electric blankets are so good. Thank God for those, because otherwise I would freeze to death. I need to get one of those like throw ones for in the computer, in my computer room, my office, if you will. I don't know, whatever this room is. I need an electric blankie for in here. Pardon me. Let's get started with the New Yorkie Times crossword and all that stuff. Let's go. I'm gonna remember to put the screen up. Watch me guys, watch me, see how I learn, see how I grow. See, we're making progress. We are doing it. The mic is on, the screen is up. Don't want to jinx myself, but so far so good. The New Yorkie Times would be a cute name. Hey, I'm walking here, Times. I got some coffee. I got a bagel. I don't know. Is that how New York people talk? Probably not. Sorry if that's offensive to you and your people. But, you know, it's what you get, I guess. All right. We've got T, N, F, E, O, I. And we have to use the letter C. I'm going to go with nicotine. Nicotine. Enter. It said I'm off to a good start. Thank you. Isotope. Oh no, that's not. That's with an S, isn't it? And then there's no P, so it doesn't work. Oh yeah, we do have Shon. We do have Shon. T-I-O-N. So Sci. No, we can't have citation because there's no A. Fiction. Oh, hey, Joey. Good to see you. Yeah, it's cold. I fell asleep just before I started streaming because I just was like, oh, I'll just have a quick lie down on the electric blanket, warm my lupus joints up, and then I just like drifted off. Connection, that is a good one. Technician. Oh no, there's no A. God damn it. Plus, I think that has an H in it, doesn't it? F. Fish. No. Hello, Ricochet. Good to see you back. Coffin. We can have coffin. Good work. Cotton. Confection. That is a really good one. We do like some good lollies. Efficient? Wow, that's a good one. Did I spell it wrong? Fishy want. I did spell it wrong because I am dumb. Lollies are what candy is called in Oz? Yeah, of course it is. What else would you call? What else would you call lollies except... Oh, did someone think it was like the other type of lolly? No, lollies are what we call like our sweets, like our confectionery. It's like nothing sus. It's like, you know how you have like a lollipop? We just call all of the treats lollies, and they're delicious. Oh, you think he said it just in case? Yeah. Well, if people want to be weirdos, they can be weirdos. I'm not one of those people. Hey. Oh, more games. So, just all over the face. The game's over, Hyperbovian. You have to move on. You have to let go, mate. It's gone. She's not coming back. I get the worst caffeine withdrawals because the coffee that I make for myself in the morning is so strong that if I like have to get a servo coffee or a cafe coffee, it's just not strong enough, and I get I was gonna say nicotine withdrawals. Caffeine withdrawals, that's what it's called. Uncle, let's go with Sam because it's 3 letters. It's full of stars. F-L-A-G-S. No, sky. S-K-Y. No. I don't know. It's full of stripes. The American flag. But night. The nighttime is full. I thought they were going for an American theme though. Month when the American Revolutionary War began. The American Revolutionary War is 1776. The 4th of July, isn't that when the war ended? By fit, so let's try. Yeah, July is when it ended, so... Today is the 4th of July. Oh, it is. It is. You're right. Sorry. I thought you were saying that was the answer to the question. Because that is where the 4th of July comes from, is the Revolutionary War. I know it was in 1776. I'm not sure what date it started. That would be like that Boston Tea Uncle Pop. I think they're going for like an Americana theme, so that's why I think it's Uncle Sam, because that's what they call that guy on like all the army posters, like the vintage ones where it says like America wants you to join the army or whatever. So I think it's going to be that. 4th of July sales promotions, etc. I don't know. Big brand of hummus. Oh, I know that because of all the controversy. That's Sabra. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner are meals. Why did you go over there? That was an interesting choice for your life. All right, so this isn't going to be night. Or Obella. I don't know, because isn't Sabra the biggest one that they sell in America? Isn't that why Denims and Rogan and all those people, they wanted to do a racial tier list, so they just used Sabra, you know, as a dog whistle, I think. It could be Obella though. Let's try that one and see what we get. You think the Habibi tier list is how you first saw them? Well, it can't be Uncle Sam if that answer is that. So that's why I think it's this. Foul smelling could be acrid, maybe? How do you spell acrid? Is it like this? I hope it is. Full of stars. Full of stripes. Zebra. That is zebra. Ooh. Full of stripes is zebra. 7. Four is space. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. This is April? Okay, what are we missing? We've got Sam, space, Zebra, April, Sabra, acrid, meal. Something's wrong. 8 across, ads. 8 across, 8 across. Hello, Defect. Nice to see you. Yay, we did it. I don't know. Falling asleep was so nice. I'm actually so psyched to go to bed tonight. Like it's gonna be great. All right. Let's try the game where everyone can see how dumb I am. Yay. Hello, Vista Robot. Where's the robot? I want to see the robot. All right, we have to find themes, 4 words for each theme. We have driver license, Louisiana, trendy, green light, Indiana. Well, already there's so much American stuff here. How are we going to get any of this right? British magazine, Idaho, inch, musical note, Oklahoma, Los Angeles, Freudian concept. That sounds sus. Recognize, spelt with a Z. That's how we already know we're in trouble. The defect is the robot in Slay the Spire. Oh. Yeah, I don't. I know of the game, I just don't understand how it works. It kind of looks like Magic the Gathering or something to me. I don't know. But I also just have too much ADHD to sit down and play something like that, so... Recognize inside mediocre. Lanthanum? Lanthanum. Okay. Well, we're already screwed. Okay, well, maybe these are all places in America. Indiana, Louisiana, Idaho, Oklahoma are all states. Those are all states, right? Nope. Failed. I failed at life. Well, it said no. Computer said no. Alright. Fine. Be like that. This one's gonna be so hard. Are there any Americans in chat? Can you help us? Because I don't know. Isn't it a little early for the Yanks? I have no idea what time it is in America. I don't know. I don't know what those people are doing over there. Up to no good, probably. I would assume. No. Hmm. 7:20 a.m. in Washington, D.C. Yeah, they're probably not awake. Making bombs for civilians, probably, yeah. You thought states was it? Yeah. Yeah, but we were wrong. Well, I was wrong. I did it. I got trigger happy. I was like, oh, those are all states. Yeah, it's never quite that simple. All right, let's try and work out the British magazine. Could that be like Rolling Stone? What's a British magazine? Maybe Rolling Stone, Musical Note. Nah. Trendy. Magazines. You think these are the names of magazines? Inside magazine. I think Inside is a magazine, right? British magazine, Inside. Trendy sounds like it would be a magazine, right? British magazine, Trendy, Inside. Maybe Musical Note is a magazine? I don't know. Doesn't it? I didn't even think magazines were around anymore. So, I don't know. I only know, like... I don't know. I only know fashion magazines and, like... Yeah, music magazines that I don't even think are around anymore. I don't think. I think it's all online. I'm so confused. Actually just don't know. Inside. Lanthium is LA on the periodic table. Alright, so let's go. Do any of these other things mean Los Angeles? Alright, musical note. Alright, we're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. Alright, something else that is LA. Is it driver's? No, that driver's license can't be shortened to LA. Trendy. LA's trendy. Is there a magazine that abbreviates to LA? Yeah, that would be handy if there is. Louisiana. Genius. I think the abbrev for Louisiana is LA. All right, let's go. Let's go. Come on. Yes. What LA might refer to. We did it. And by we, I mean the chat. The chat did it. Because I was not, I was not getting any of those. Freudian concept. Well, I guess the most famous Freudian concept is... Well, I don't know. The only thing that's still relevant is the unconscious mind. The rest of it's kind of debunked. ID Idaho license. Are there two other things inside? Wait, Idaho, driver's license, Indiana. Could there be another thing that could possibly be for ID? But then that's kind of the same theme as that. I mean, just a variation of, right? Chicky. Indiana? What's the theme for that though? Words that start with inside? But what's the theme? Recognize is a mental thing, Freud. Sure. Maybe British magazine, trendy. There is a British magazine called ID. Yeah? Okay. British magazine. Driver's license. Okay, so what are we going with? Are we going with like ID? So we're going with British magazine, Idaho, driver's license. Recognize? Okay, what do we got? What do we think about these for? Recognize Idaho British Magazine driver's license. To recognize. Yep. All right. Let's see. Nope. Nope. Ship. Explain more, please, Hyperbovian. Please explain to the class because your teacher is very dumb and needs some guidance. This is just gonna be a guess. Yeah, Freud did write about the concept of the id. You were 100% right. Freudian concept is id? Yeah, it is. All right. Freudian concept, driver's license, British Magazine, Idaho. Come on. Nah. We died. It was id, but it was driver's license, Freudian concept, Idaho, and I have to go back to have a look. It was like id ID, but can you let me see what they were, please? Oh my goodness. Admire puzzle. Yes, please. What in might refer to inch, Indiana, inside, trendy. You were correct. You were correct, Joey. Good work. What okay might refer to British Magazine, green light, mediocre, Oklahoma. Okay, well. Hey, Markov. What is up? Do I guess okay, Oklahoma, mediocre, agree? Sure. Okay, magazine? Yeah, I don't know. Look, I was literally falling asleep less than 40 minutes ago, so I don't know. It's cold. My electric blankie is on. I'm getting my bed all nice and warm for when I finish streaming. Gonna have some hot chocky in bed. It's gonna be great. I'm excited. How is my day? Yeah, my day was okay, Markov. How was your day? Where am I from? I am from Sydney, but I live in Melbourne, in Australia. At the bottom of Australia, where it is cold and there are penguins. And the next stop is Antarctica. And we get the wind from Antarctica. And it is cold. And I am a whinger. And I don't like the cold. Alright. Well, let's catch up with Mushroom Lady. What is Mushroom Lady doing? Nothing. The jury are still deliberating. And that's pretty much the headline and describes the situation. We don't talk about Tasmania. Well, you know, they've got some cute wombats down there, so that's pretty good. But like, what else are you gonna do? It's pretty nice that I live in Melbourne. In the summer, well, I have lupus, so I can't even go out when it's summer. But Australia in general is probably the greatest place to live, I would say, in my opinion. We're still trying to saw off Tasmania or Melbourne. Tasmania is a government psyop to make Melbourne people moan less. Yeah, probably. Probably. Although, if we don't have Tasmania, like, at least, like, all the states can come together to, like, call Tasmania inbred and make fun of them. Like, who are we gonna pick on if we don't pick on Tasmania? It's something we can, Am I deciding to move from Australia? No. Nope. I have seen a good proportion of the world, and, unless a Calvin Klein model is asking me to marry them, I'm not moving from Australia. You would have to be a very, very hot man to get me to leave Australia, let me tell you. Do we get snow in Melbourne? Not in Melbourne. We get snow like in the Victorian Alps, and in the snowy mountains there's snow. I like that about Australia. It's like, these mountains are blue. Let's call them the Blue Mountains. These mountains have snow. Let's call them the Snowy Mountains. I like that about us. This desert is sandy. Let's call it the Sandy Desert. I really like that. I enjoy that a lot. You're an exceptionally ugly man, but you're willing to commit marriage fraud for a visa. I think that's supposed to work the other way around. The town and suburb names. That's how... See, I like our crazy suburb names. I especially like the indigenous ones that people can't pronounce when they're from overseas. Like, if you see someone from overseas trying to say Woolloomooloo or Parramatta, or, you know, any of them really, it's like... You are normal and you can be trusted in third world countries. I believe you, Defect. I 100% trust you. I just, yeah, I just am a one and done married gal looking for the one to make babies with and be married forever. That's the way I like to do it. It's nice to watch them stumble on the pronunciation. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Oh, it's pretty funny when, like, you see, like, all these, like, super politically correct people, and then they make fun of an Australian place name, and I go, oh, that's an Aboriginal name. It's a really sacred place. That's why it has that name. And then they start apologizing to you, and it's like, yeah, disgusting behavior. How could you mispronounce that? Oh, why is that team called the Eels? Because Parramatta means the place where the eel lies down in Barramaddagal language, actually. So that's very racist and offensive, and that's what you get for making fun of my footy team. Go the Eels, guys. Let's go. But yeah, that's my favorite one, because, like, they're so careful. They're so careful about what they say, and then they accidentally stuff up, and it's like, yeah, look what you did. You made baby Jesus cry with your disgusting behavior.
All day of deliberations in Erin Patterson's triple murder trial has finished without a verdict, as speculation increases on when the 12 men and women of the jury will reach a decision. Abby Dinham joins us live. Abby, is this a long deliberation period?
Oh yeah, I just started playing the video without saying what's happening. Yeah, so this is the mushroom lady. You know, she made a beef Wellington with poisonous mushrooms that she found in the woods, allegedly, until she's actually convicted, which she might be. She might be soon. So, you know, it's all happening. It's all happening, guys. Oh, I like this hair color. I have really dark hair, so I could dye my hair that color, but I probably look weird. Probably wouldn't look nice. Are they trying to improve intent? Well, they don't have to prove motive, right? They don't necessarily have to prove motive. It does help the prosecution to establish a motive. But when the judge was giving the jurors, like, instructions, before they went to deliberate, he said a motive isn't important. So really all it was, really all the prosecution had to do is establish or convince the jury beyond a reasonable doubt that she poisoned everybody. There's a lot of evidence. So in Harvey Bay we have Boral and Tuki Toowoomba. I know Toowoomba. I don't know. Toowoomba reminds me of Katoomba. That's a place in the Blue Mountains. They're not the same, but they kind of have like similar. You're not familiar with first world legal proceedings? Could she not afford to bribe the judge? No, you have to be very Tagoom. Okay, is it Tagoom? Is that how you say it? Do I have kids? No, I don't have kids. I would like to have kids one day. But I have some health problems, and I've got to get those under control because I take medications that would cause very bad deformities for children if I got pregnant. So I have to be very careful and just have to take care of my health, and then hopefully one day I can go off my medication and I can make a cute baby. Yay. You're not familiar with first world legal proceedings? Whereabouts in the world do you hail from? Is my problem serious? It can be serious. I have a disease called lupus. So if like I don't take my medication and stuff, it can cause organ failure. So it can cause any of my organs to fail. So it can cause heart failure, liver failure, kidney failure. It can cause problems with my brain. Like I used to have seizures before I started taking medication for it. Yeah, just that. Oh, you're from Cape Town. Okay, Cape Town. Yeah, Dr. House is in shambles. So yeah, you're in South Africa. Okay. All right. Yeah, we have stuff in common. You guys have the same types of flowers as us. You have proteas. We have proteas. The only 2 countries in the world, I believe, that have proteas. You got a good rugby team. The Springboks go all right. They go all right. My dad watches the Union. I watch rugby league, but my dad watches rugby union, so I used to watch it when I was younger. What else do I know about South Africa? Stuff, I guess. My dad used to watch the movie Zulu a lot when I was a child. He's into his historical movies. We can recognize South Africa on GeoGuessr. We can, because the soil looks the same as Australia. We made Elon Musk. Yeah. But you made Charlize Theron. You made Elon Musk. Who else? I don't know. I don't know who else, to be honest. Markov hopes I give birth to a cute girl one day. I also hope that. I would love to have a daughter. That would be cool. Or a son. I'm happy for either. You made Mandela? Yeah. You also made that psycho Paralympian guy that slashed that poor reverse steam cap. Wait, no, did he get it with a cricket bat? I don't remember now. Anyway, that was horrible. He's out of jail right now, right? What's his name? Oscar Pistorius? I don't know. Yeah, he shot her. Oh, he knocked down the door with a cricket bat and shot her, right? He got out? Yeah, no, I saw that. I saw that a few months ago, right? Really recently, he got out of jail. He should be in jail forever. He should be in jail forever. He shot her through the door. Oh, I know. It's absolutely disgusting. That poor woman, her poor family too. I remember watching that trial. He knocked her down the door after. Oh, to make it look like someone broke in, right? Yeah, I don't remember the details. I don't remember all the details, but Yeah, that was so sad. What does my husband do for a living? Oh, I don't have a husband yet, Markov. We're still looking for a husband. we'll find one day. It was your OJ trial. Yeah, it was big. It was big. I remember yeah, watching. It's just really, really sad. Yeah, that poor woman and her family. Oh my goodness. Absolutely, like seeing her parents. Oh, that broke my heart. Absolutely heart-wrenching stuff. Is lupus what Justin Bieber's girlfriend had? His ex-girlfriend, Selena Gomez. Yeah, she had lupus and she got a kidney transplant. But when people don't know what lupus is, I just go, oh, it's that thing that Selena Gomez has. And then people are like, oh, I understand. So it makes it a little bit easier. What's happening with YouTube? Ah, you've arrived. Everyone is using multi-platforming tonight, guys. Yeah. All right. Mushroom Lady, let's go.
Jen, when we talk about 4 full days of deliberations, we really need to try and break that down a bit. So the jury only comes...
I don't stream full-time, Markov. I've only been streaming for I think 7 weeks. And I just stream for a few hours, 6 days a week. But if I can get enough people to watch me, then I can stream full time. That would be nice. I would enjoy that. Better than having a real job.
Comes in about 10:30 in the morning. They have an hour off for lunch and then they wrap up deliberations about 4:15 p.m. So when you tally that up over the week, they've only really been deliberating for about 20 hours in total. And for a case that's this complex, that's really not that excessive. The prosecution and defence teams are still turning up to court every day in anticipation of a verdict being announced, along with a handful of court watchers who've been here for almost every day of this trial, and they're determined to be here when that decision's announced. But this week we haven't seen the Patterson and Wilkinson families. They haven't come to court during this deliberation phase, and we understand that the Patterson family don't intend to be here when the verdict is announced. We're unsure about the Wilkinson families, but they're...
Yeah, you can't merge your chats like on like the screen that you're showing, but you can have a multi-chat like on your widgets. So where I can see like my OBS and my alerts and stuff, I can see different platforms. But yeah, Twitch are weird about that. Like if I ever made partner or something like that, I think sometimes they get you to say that you'll only stream on one platform or something like that, or you have to wait 24 hours to like move content over. I'm not entirely sure, but that's not something I have to worry about for a while. So my TikTok is popping off. Oh, that's good to hear. I did see a few things had a few thousand views, so that was exciting. But yeah, I'm just gonna try and be myself, and if people like me and want to watch me, that's cool. And if they don't, then I'll just cry. I won't really, but... Oh, konnichiwa. Konnichiwa. Who are we saying konnichiwa to? Oh. Okay.
They're likely going to be watching a live stream from the court when the jury finally returns. As you can imagine, these families have been under this intense global spotlight for the past couple of months, so this might be a moment that they want to have in private. But for now, Jen, deliberations will continue tomorrow.
Okay, thank you very much, Abby.
Oh, that was it. That was our short and sweet. Deliberations will continue. Wait, today's Friday. Oh, they're going to work on the weekend. Bugger that. Where are the unions? They're trying to make people work on the weekend, guys. Somebody call, I don't know, not the CFMEU. It's probably the ASU. I don't know what. I guess lawyers don't need a union, right? Because they're lawyers. Because why do you join the union? You join the union so you can get access to a lawyer. Oh, wow. A bunch of people just subscribed. What happened? Dude. Why did all these people just subscribe? What's happened? Oh, someone gifted me subs. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. That's so cool. Thank you so much for the subs, Defect. That's so... Wow. Thank you so much. Wow. That's so exciting. Thank you. I just saw all these people subscribe at the same time and I was like... Why am I frozen? Yeah, you guys got outdone. Hyperbovian and Joey got outdone. They are South African subs. Don't get too excited. Nah, that seems exciting. Thank you so much. I'm real I am actually excited. That's so nice of you. Thank you. Well, in other news, guys, Kanye West is banned from Australia. As we know, his wife, Bianca Sensori, is from Melbourne. She is from Melbourne, guys. She's a very, very attractive woman, but what's R33 a dollary dues? I don't know. I don't even know. I'm so sorry. I don't even know what the South African currency is. How do you... I know it starts with an R. What is it?
Takes a bold stand. Kanye West barred over pro-Nazi song. In a significant and controversial move, Australian authority...
Rands. Is that how you pronounce it? Rands? Okay, cool. Good to know. Good to know. I would like to go to South Africa one day, though. It's definitely very pretty. I know it's a little bit dangerous. Well, it's a lot dangerous in the wrong area, but yeah, I'd like to take my dad there, maybe to see the rugby. You think it's $1.50 or something? That's heaps. Thank you so much. You don't have to give anything, so I really appreciate it. Yeah, that's really cool. Thank you.
Have decided to refuse entry to Kanye West, also known as Ye, due to his inflammatory pro-Nazi song Hail Hitler. This announcement was confirmed by the country's immigration minister during a conversation with ABC television.
Ooh.
Released in May,
what's the conversation?
This song sparked outrage and has been outlawed not only in Germany, but also on global streaming platforms like Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Music, due to its offensive anti-Semitic content praising Adolf Hitler. The lyrics repeatedly echo praises to the Nazi leader, incorporating direct excerpts from...
This video isn't good. I'm going to find another video about this. I don't... No offense, Mr. Robot Man, Mr. AI Man, but Kanye Australia visa. NBC News. We'll go with Channel 7. Are these shorts? Can I get a real one? Oh, it's Anthony Albanese. It's looking sharp, guys. What should we go with? 9 or 10? Let's go with 10. Let's shake it up a bit. Let's go with Channel 10.
Fallen rapper Kanye West has had his visa torn up, effectively banning him from entering Australia after he released an anti-Semitic song that referenced Hitler. Network Entertainment editor Angela Bishop joins me now for more on this. And Ange, what has sparked this decision?
Well, Home Affairs Minister Tony Burke dropped the visa bombshell late this afternoon, explaining that Kanye West was no longer welcome in Australia after releasing a song called Heil Hitler.
You're going to have a song and promote that sort of Nazism? We don't need that in Australia.
The 47-year-old rapper's wife, Bianca Sensori, is a...
Yeah, that's Bianca Sensori. I think she's so pretty. I think she's so stunning. Oh, people are cheering me. Ooh. Oh wow, so much stuff is happening. I'm trying to see all the things so I can say thank you. All right, we got Joey. He cheered 300 bits and Hyperbovian cheered 1 times fit? I don't know if I'm reading it properly. Sorry, guys. But thank you so much for that. This is so cool. I'm going to have a look at everything when I sign off for the night. Google gave you $3 off the 95 package. Okay. Don't mind me, I'm just sipping tea while I sip the tea, as the kids say. Yeah. Kanye West's wife is like, she went to the University of Melbourne, which is like a really good uni, really hard to get into. She's really pretty. She's an architect. Like, I just don't know. I just don't know what you're doing, Bianca. Look, I am in Melbourne. We could be friends. We could hang out, you know. I will be your friend. I will help you. If you ever want to come back to Melbourne and you need a friend, I will be your friend, Bianca.
Australian, and it's believed the visa related to tourism visits rather than performance. The song in question was released on the 8th of May, Victory in Europe Day, and was quickly banned by Apple Music, Spotify and YouTube. It's also banned in Germany. West also posted a stream of anti-Semitic remarks on social media, and during the Super Bowl in February paid for an expensive TV commercial that linked to his website selling a T-shirt that featured a swastika.
Oh God, Kanye.
His remarks today by saying,
Kanye, now you can't visit the in-laws. Do you think that he released the song just so he doesn't have to visit his in-laws? Do you think he was like, what will get me banned from Australia so I don't have to see my mother and father-in-law for Christmas? And that's what he did. Now, that's a bit extreme. I mean, I know some people have some bad in-laws, but I think that is a bit extreme. I think Kanye's just banning Kanye and then the corporate money and politics thing. Australia are on a rare streak. Yeah, I think Australia punches above its weight in a lot of ways and a lot of things. True banning to avoid the in-laws. Hello, Zazzle. I've seen Zazzle on my shorts, in my shorts comments. Good to have you around, Zazzle.
we have enough challenges in Australia without directly importing hatred.
Well, Kanye doesn't have to worry about awkward dinners with the in-laws because he is not allowed on the same continent. Ooh. It started auto-playing something. I don't know why it scared me, but it did. Oh. There's more stuff about the stuff I spoke about yesterday, you know, with the little kitties. I don't know. Maybe should we talk about it now or should we talk about it later? I don't know. Should we pull off the band-aid? I guess I'll just give a recap to people that didn't watch yesterday. Punches above its weight in cost of living. Well, yeah, I mean, it is very expensive to live here and rent is definitely the big killer. We have a housing bubble that's never gonna pop because it's propped up by so much government legislation, because there's just so much money in the housing market now that if we crash the market, or like, we can absorb like slight corrections, but like there was a correction on apartment prices in Melbourne, so they came down like a few $100,000, which is substantial, which is like 25% on some places, and the market could kind of absorb that. But if it absorbs, like if the house, so much of our economy is tied to our housing prices. It's all tied to our resources and our housing. So if one of those goes down, our economy will just crash. So that's why politicians do everything that they can to keep the housing market propped up. But yeah, rent is really, really, really expensive. It is really, really hard to stay afloat. Oh, I got a Fluxurio. I don't know how to say your name, but hello. Yeah, so just to give a recap, something really terrible has been happening in the state of Victoria, which is where I live, which is where Melbourne is. Melbourne is the state capital. There has been a man, at least one man that we know of, probably more, unfortunately, but he was doing really bad things to children, and now up to 1,200 young children, like under the age of 2, 1,200 young children under the age of 2 have to go and have STI testing. And so it's a really big thing that's happening in Victoria at the moment. I spoke about it yesterday, and I showed the man's face. He's a disgusting animal, and I hope he spends forever in jail. But this is the Federal Minister for Education, and he's just going to talk about what happened at the preschools, at the kindies. So
Sinclair, welcome.
Thank you.
Now, you learnt about the allegations being made against the childcare worker in Melbourne over a week ago. What action did you take?
Well, the first step I took was to put this on the top of the agenda for education ministers when we met last week. Last week, 2 things happened. I was informed that a person had been arrested for the alleged behaviour in childcare centres in Victoria. But a second thing happened. The Wheeler report was released by the New South Wales government and their initial response. And as you know, that was an investigation conducted by the former Deputy Ombudsman of New South Wales, Chris Wheeler, in response to the Four Corners expose earlier this year, which revealed horrifying examples of physical abuse and neglect in childcare centres. I thought it was necessary to put this at the top of the agenda for education ministers last week so we could pull together the recommendations from Chris, and he briefed us, but also recommendations from Gabrielle Sinclair, who's the head of the federal regulator, about what are the next steps we need to take to keep our kids safe in childcare.
We'll come to some of those in a minute. I just want to stay with the situation in Melbourne and just repeating that these are now allegations. The man has been charged and will face trial. How is it possible that if you knew a week ago, some parents only found out when they went to the childcare centres that there was a problem?
Well, let me be very clear. I was informed by the Victorian government that someone had been arrested. I wasn't briefed on the details of this, and nor were ministers at the education ministers meeting last week. To the best of my knowledge, the Victorian government has made sure that they've informed parents as soon as they possibly can. As you would have heard,
it can't be as soon as they possibly could, because we had an incident of a mother on the programme last night who did receive a text message. The text message was very confusing. The media were at the childcare centre. She didn't know, walked into a childcare centre. Fair
point. Let me correct that. The Victorian government were informing parents when they believed that they were ready to do so.
And this is what happens when there's a bunch of public money up for grabs. These childcare centres, these people that have no experience running childcare centres, hiring absolutely anybody because there's so much money to be made, hiring obviously this little freak that worked at this particular childcare centre and 19 others apparently, with absolutely no oversight. We seem to be talking about housing a lot. We'll watch a video about housing after this if you want, guys. I'll just finish this one up and then we can watch something about the Australian housing market. It is definitely interesting. It's just very depressing.
But one of those people is a friend of mine. She's directly affected by this. Her girls are caught up in this. I know the white-hot anger of all parents that are affected by this and the confusion that they're facing and feeling right now. You know, I don't want to make any points specifically about the alleged offence.
You're right, Defect. You can talk about whatever you want in chat. Yeah. Yeah, this is just a serious thing that's happening in my state. Obviously, it involves very vulnerable people. So, yeah, just watching this, but you guys could talk about. This guy just makes you murderous. You pass through the rage. Yeah, I know it's really horrible. It is really horrible, but it's really important conversation to have. Put him under the jail, 100%. 100%. Oh my goodness. Oh, those poor babies. Those poor babies. Oh my goodness.
Because this will go before the courts, but this is serious. It's sickening. People want to turn away from this and turn off their TVs, but you can't. It requires serious action. I've been pretty blunt about this today and yesterday. We're taking action, but not enough action has happened and not fast enough.
All right, let's talk about that. But just in the case of your friends, and obviously they, we offer them all our sympathy. How did they find out, and how did they think the matter was treated?
Well, they received a text message.
Did they understand the text message?
Yeah, they did. They did. But then they received further details. She's gone off to see a GP. But to be honest, she's still confused, wanting to find out what tests she needs to get her daughters to do, whether those tests might cause more trauma than the girls. The girls don't know about it at the moment. She's keeping it from them, as you expect that she would. But at some point, they need to get tests done. She needs to know what those tests involved and what the potential.
Yeah, well, hopefully they can do testing without being too invasive. Oh, the pegging guy's back in the chat. Mate, this isn't the segment for you to be in here asking to get pegged or whatever it is that you want. We're actually talking about some serious shit right now. I'll deal with you later, mate. All right?
Impact of them might be on the girls.
Are pedophiles targeting childcare centres because they can get easy access to?
Sir, do I sound like a bloke to you? Jeez, I've got the girliest voice in the world.
The children.
Well, we've seen evidence of this, Sarah. We saw evidence of this in Queensland, where Australia's worst pedophile was arrested and charged and convicted a couple of years ago. It's why I asked the federal regulator to conduct a...
Does the Aussie government subsidise childcare? Yeah, they subsidise it heavily. They subsidise it heavily because it's really unaffordable. You didn't come off as offensive, but I remember what you said last time you were in here, and we're talking about child abuse at the moment, so that's why I was just letting you know not to, you know, say anything too wild, but you're all right as long as you behave yourself, okay?
A review into child safety. It's why the sort of actions that are rolling out now are happening, because you have seen pedophiles do this.
We will talk about what came out of that review, but there are figures that show, and these are just in the jurisdictions that have reporting requirements, at least one incident of sexual misconduct a day, and that doesn't include any figures from Queensland, the Northern Territory and South Australia. How do you defend those statistics?
I don't. No reasonable person would. What those statistics show you is that we've got a serious problem and we've got to take serious action. The honest answer...
He's in the kick chat. He didn't say anything. He didn't say anything bad this time, but last time he came in, he was asking me to peg him and said he's a multimillionaire and he will pay me to peg him. No. Yeah, that's what he said. I got confused about the logistics of pegging.
Answer to you is that this job will never be done, that there will always be bad people that try and break through the net. That doesn't mean that you do nothing, though. That means that we've got to do everything that we possibly can to make sure that our children are safe. That's why people are talking now about CCTV or about an educator register, about improving working with children checks. None of that is a silver bullet. None of that is going to guarantee every child is safe.
Yeah, it's not going to guarantee every child is safe, and there are no 100% guarantees, but if it brings it up from 50% safe to 95% safe, surely that's going to be something. Surely that's going to be something that, you know, get it as safe as you possibly can. Look, like, I understand privacy, I understand all these things, but these are children. This is the safety of children. Like, I work with vulnerable people. I am more than happy to have CCTV on me at all times because a lot of the people that I work with are vulnerable people. And even if it means my privacy, you know, even if it means I am being micromanaged or whatever, like I will take that on the chin if it guarantees, you know, the safety of vulnerable people. Why is my cat meowing? You've been fed, Bubba. Yeah. You've been fed. What? Where are you going? Sorry, my cat is trying to pretend she didn't get fed her dinner, but she did. I don't know if you can hear her in the background, but she's trying to act cute. Cute and hungry, but I'm onto her. She has been fed. Don't believe her lies, chat. Don't believe her lies. She is fed and watered. She's just trying to get a sneaky extra fancy feast, I think.
But all of it are the sort of things that are necessary if we're fair dinkum about doing our
So what
jobs.
is your view on each of those things? Just one at a time. CCTV, should there be CCTV in childcare centres?
Yes.
Yes, there should. Chris talked about this in his report that was handed down
When can we
last
expect
week.
to see that?
Well, hang on a sec. So what Mr Wheeler said in his report, based on the Four Corners investigation, is that should be targeted to certain centres based on the fact that some centres haven't been up to scratch. And so education ministers are looking at...
Just hold it.
Nah, it shouldn't be some centres. It should be all centres, because what if a creep goes and gets a job at one of the quote-unquote good centres, right? What if they go to TAFE or they go to uni and they get their childcare, early education certificates or whatever, and so they get to work at the quote-unquote good, up-to-scratch childcare, and they use that to get access to children without there being CCTV. No, you have to roll it out. You have to roll it out to every single childcare centre. Otherwise, there's no... Well, I'm not going to say there's no point. I mean, obviously put the cameras in the dodgy ones. Or what about this? Don't let dodgy ones exist. If they're not up to scratch, shut them down. Say get up to scratch or get shut down. Exactly, defect. Only the bad centres are bad and the good centres will be assumed to be good and they won't be checked. Yeah, 100%. The cameras need to be in all of them. Otherwise, there's no point. Just shut down the bad ones. Why are these places getting funding? Why is it okay for kids to get sent to a quote-unquote bad daycare? What if that's the only daycare you can afford, or it's the only one in your suburb, or it's the only one with places available because all the, rich people can afford to send their kid to the good daycare? Like, make all the daycare centres be good, bring them all up to scratch, or say no funding for you and they have to close down, or close them down. If they're not good, close them down.
Just hold it there. You're talking about the need for CCTV in a childcare centre that is not up to scratch. Should any centre that is required to have CCTV for the safety of the children attending it, should that centre be in operation?
The short answer to that is no. And that's why I'm going to introduce legislation when the Parliament returns in the first sitting fortnight that will cut funding to childcare centres that aren't up to scratch, that aren't meeting the quality and safety standards that Australians would expect and that our kids deserve. This is the big weapon that the Commonwealth Government has to wield here. We fund centres. 70% of the funding for these centres comes from taxpayers. Well, that is the big lever that the Commonwealth Government has. States have other levers, but that's the big one. A centre can't run without taxpayer funding or taxpayer support. And so that's why we've said this was something that we announced in March. So that's a major important measure to make sure that our kids are safe. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't have CCTV as well. Chris gave us recommendations about that, and that's one of the things ministers are going through right now.
One of the standards that you've already talked about that's come.
Defect is asking, why isn't there CCTV in all of them already? That's a really good question. And it's probably to do with like privacy issues and things like that. But I think that's all gone out the window now. CCTV isn't expensive, 100%. And yeah, look, I think this has woken a lot of people up to, what can happen when you're not being surveilled. So yeah, CCTV cameras aren't expensive these days, 100%, and they should all be monitored. But yeah, it's just absolutely horrible that that this was allowed to happen. And yeah, we have a new follow in integral prof. Welcome.
Coming in September is mandatory reporting of any physical or sexual abuse within 24 hours. Why not bring that in immediately?
Well, we're bringing it in as quick as we possibly can. I'm conscious here no one is interested in any excuses here, but the honest answer to this is, out of the review that we did, that we asked the national regulator to conduct for us, they recommended a suite of changes, about 16 different reforms. Some of them are the responsibility of education ministers, some the attorneys general, some building ministers. One of them was around mobile phones, one of them was around mandatory reporting. I've told my department, I've told ministers across the country, we need to implement these as quick as we possibly can, and that's one of them.
So the beginning of September is the earliest you can possibly do that. Yeah. There is no mechanism under which you could make that immediate, because I think that's something that people will be puzzled about. If you have an existing requirement that says you have to report within 7 days, that seems extremely long. Why can't you move more quickly on that?
I think anyone listening would say, why is it 7 days now?
Yes, indeed.
Right?
Yep.
Why hasn't this been fixed sooner?
What's the answer?
Well, the answer is it should have been fixed yesterday. I'm determined to get it fixed as soon as it possibly can. The best advice I've got is the way this system works is we can get it done in September.
How do you propose to fix a system that fails to punish centres that offer substandard care?
Yeah, there's at least two parts to this. The penalties that centres cop at the moment are insufficient. This is another thing that Chris Wheeler pointed to in his report last week. For an individual that breaches...
Did you need Chris Wheeler's report to tell you that?
No. I think any right-minded person, when they find out that a maximum penalty under the existing law for an individual is about $9,000 for a centre or a provider is about $45,000, would say, well, that's probably not enough to make sure that people are doing what they should be doing.
Why did it take a television program to make this an urgent matter of business for the government?
Well, it shouldn't, but there's a bit of a history here at the ABC of Four Corners doing the right thing.
But I want to know what the government's been doing, because this information was not held secretly from you or your department.
No, I get all of that.
So what have you been doing for the last 3 years?
Well, the bottom line is that ministers haven't been doing enough fast enough, right?
Including you.
Including me, and I take my fair share of responsibility for it. I've been pretty blunt about that. But I tell you what, I've got the job now and I'm determined to act. Part of that is significantly beefing up those penalties. The other part, in answering your question...
It's so weird seeing a politician take accountability. I'm like, wow, interesting.
Is about cutting off the funding to centres who don't comply. If they're persistently not meeting safety standards, if they're persistently not meeting the sort of quality that we expect, whether it's for a for-profit centre or a not-for-profit community centre, then we've got to have the ability to cut off funding, pull the funding for them. That's what's going to help get centres up to the sort of safety and quality standards
what should the threshold
expect.
be? Is one breach of a serious safety standard enough?
Well, we're working through the details of that bill that I'll introduce now, so I won't preempt that. But there needs to be stages there so that potentially we can set conditions on centres, but ultimately you've got to have the power to pull the funding.
The federal government undertook a drive, the Albanese government, when it came into power, a drive to provide what were urgently needed childcare places across the country. Have you pushed the sector to expand too fast at the expense of children's safety?
Yes, obviously.
No, I don't think that's right. You know, we have seen the centre
I think that's
grow
right.
over the last 3 years. There's 100,000 more children in early education and care today than there were 3 years ago.
And we've got a crisis of quality, so doesn't that make the answer to that question yes?
Well, there's about 1.5 million children in the sector right now. So it's gone from about 1.4 to 1.5. So we're seeing that grow. So that's good for parents because it's an essential service. It's good to have more children in early education and care because it's helping to get them ready for school.
This is a debate about quality.
I get that. I'm determined to make sure that we hit those quality standards. So the question then is, how do you make sure you hit those quality and safety standards? What do businesses in this sector listen to? Money.
Yep.
And if you cut off the funding, then you end up closing down the centre. That's going to be the real tool, I think, that we've got here
So
to help boost those standards.
As things stand, do you accept that there is a correlation between for-profit in this sector and low quality?
Well,
Yes.
what I would say is that in the community or the not-for-profit sector, we're seeing overwhelmingly higher levels of achieving the sort of quality we want and expect than in the for-profit sector. But whether it's for profit or not for profit, everybody has to meet those sort of standards. We've got to make sure that the safety of our children is number one. And one of the ways we can do that is with the lever of Commonwealth money.
Long way to go on this. Thank you very much indeed for coming in.
Thanks, Sarah.
Claire, thank you.
This whole thing's so yucky. So yucky. Is there an argument that the government rushed the expansion of childcare for political gains at the expense of child safety? Yes, there is an argument for that. A very strong one. Look, I don't think they could have foreseen it being quite this bad. But yeah. That's what happens when you try and push through policy too fast. It's not well written, it's not, well tested, it's not well researched. It's just a mess. It's an absolute mess. Anyway, yucky. Disgusting situation. Let's watch a video about Istanbul, the city of cats. The best thing about going to Turkey is all the cats that are everywhere, and everywhere you go there's cats and you can pat them, and it's great. 10 out of 10 recommend. We love cats. They are the greatest. Hey Dango, good to see you, Dango. Dango is an OG. We do love cats. Everyone loves cats. Well, not everyone loves cats. Some weirdos don't like cats, but that's for God to sort out. Meow. Hello. Ooh. Black cat. Hi. You have allergies and you still love cats? Yeah, I have allergies to everything. I have to take antihistamines like every 12 hours, but I still love cats. I don't even know if I'm allergic to my cat because I'm just like allergic to everything, so I don't know. So many things set my immune system off. You just never know what it's going to be from day to day, so... But yeah, cats are beautiful. It does suck when you're allergic to them though. I have a friend that's allergic to them. Oh, he almost fell. Oh, that's a new one. Was that his meow? What a meow. I do have lupus and I do set my immune system off myself. That is true. That is true. Oh, babies. yeah, if you ever go to Turkey or if you've been to Turkey, like the whole community, they take care of the cats. And if one of them's sick, like they take them to the vet. But the cats, they live outside because they want the cats to be free. So they like don't like to like have them in the house because they don't think they're happy in the house. But I was in this city on the Mediterranean coast of Turkey called Antalya, and the old city there is called Kaleci, and it's just full of cats, and they're so well taken care of, and there's all kittens everywhere. And like if you eat at a restaurant, like you'll just have kittens running around your legs, like waiting for a piece of your steak or a piece of your fish or whatever you're eating. And like I saw one of the waitresses like pick up one of the kittens and just like start like playing with it. It was so cute. It was so cute. Like I love how much Turkish people love cats. It's one of the first sultans, I believe. He had like he followed an interpretation of Islam that really put an emphasis on like loving animals because they're like Allah's creation. Let me just Turkish animal sultan. Is it going to give me... Nope, that's not what I wanted. We'll get there, guys. I'm trying to find it. Turkish. Who loved animals and cats. How many platforms am I streaming on? YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. Oh, Sultan Abdul Hamid II, who reigned from 1876 to 1909, was known for his deep affection for animals, particularly cats. He housed nearly 1,500 cats of various breeds at Yildiz Palace. Additionally, he established foundations dedicated to the care of stray animals, especially during the harsh winter months. Here's a more detailed look at his love for animals. Cats at Yildiz Palace. He had a large number of cats at his palace, including many different breeds. He set up a foundation for stray animals with the specific purpose of providing food and care for stray animals, particularly during the cold winter months. The Cats of Antalya. Oh, we'll watch that next. Those are my favorite cats. I love them so much. I had the best time in that city because there were just cats everywhere and the architecture is so beautiful. And like you're behind like this old castle wall, like this old fortress wall. The whole city just looks like a movie. It's so pretty. Oh, I wish I could pat all of them. And if you go into some of the mosques as well, there's just cats in the mosque. They just let them chill in there. Because, you know, they're God's creation, so they can just chill out in the mosque. Love them, so cute. Aww. He's having a coffee. You have a photo of the cats on top of the columns? Yeah, I saw a lot of the cats just chilling on the Roman ruins as well. It's so cool. Oh my goodness. Beach cats. Oh, hello. I don't know. I know you can't reach through the screen and like pat them all, but I want to pat them all. They're just so cute. Maybe I should go to a cat cafe. I mean, I cuddle my cat all the time. She is so needy. She has to sleep on top of me. She's the most neediest cat that ever lived, but you know, I want to go and pat some other cats as well. She doesn't need to know about it. So, yeah. Meow. It said hello. Yeah, good luck fighting a cat, mate. Yeah, I can cheat on my cat with other cats. She doesn't need to know. What she doesn't know can't hurt her. Oh, hello. Oh, it's so cute. Anyway, we get the point. There's lots of cute cats. We'll watch a video on housing. I just wanted to have a palate cleanser after watching that horrific. Thinking about that horrific little disgusting man that did that disgusting stuff to those children. I needed to have some joy in my heart because, you know, I did. All right. Housing.
Today, why housing affordability is a structural issue.
This guy sounds like a POM. He doesn't sound like an Australian. This is suspicious. Suspicious activity detected. Straight to my spam folder. Why isn't it doing what I'm telling it to do? Oh. Walk the world. No. I will catch a plane.
Hello again,
Thank
it's Martin
you.
North from Digital Finance Analytics, where I just post covering finance and problem news with a distinctively Australian flavour. Today, I just want to walk you through...
I'm not having a stroke, right? He doesn't sound Aussie. He sounds British. Am I having a stroke? Or am I just too Australian and everyone else doesn't sound Australian enough? I don't know. Maybe I'm having a stroke, but he doesn't sound Australian to me. He sounds like he's British. Maybe he moved here. Maybe.
My submission to the recent inquiry into housing affordability. Unfortunately, the scope of that particular inquiry is pretty limited because they're worrying about supply side issues only, and as I've argued, it's much broader. But nevertheless, I made a submission. You can download that either from my website or indeed directly from the Parliament website.
Sounds thrilling.
Some of the key points.
Sounds exciting.
I started by saying we've been tracking the ranks of inquiries into housing market and housing affordability over many years. And we note the considerable duplication of effort from the many inquiries that have been undertaken, but without yielding any real change. I argue the issue is clouded by self-interest, misdirection, and short-term political agendas. As a recent report put it, the scale of the housing market in the Australian...
No, it is interesting, Hyperbovian. It's just like very dry content. But that's okay. We can learn. I just might not have much to add to it though, right? Like, kind of, I think videos that are a little bit more of like a narrative where you can like chime in, I think are easier to watch, but it's probably an okay video. We'll see.
Economy and the diffuse, often disconnected spread of policy powers that address different aspects of this system makes the parable of the blind man and the elephant a perfect metaphor for a current predicament. Access to housing should be, in my view, regarded as a fundamental human right, not
a
commodity, yet the reverse is currently the case. The housing affordability issue is a complex and politically charged one, with a convenient separation of accountabilities between states, mainly supply-side issues such as land release, planning and zoning and building standards, and federal, where initiatives such as home builder and additional first-time buyer incentives have featured alongside the tax settings. There is in fact very little joined-up thinking. In addition, neither the RBA, who sets rates via monetary policy, or APRA, the finance sector regulator, claims to have any responsibility for the trajectory of home prices, even though my research shows availability of credit is by far the most powerful lever in terms of home price growth. In New Zealand, in contrast, the Reserve Bank now has a direct mandate to consider home prices when setting monetary policy after prices soared by more than 20% as rates were cut and other incentives were provided. Yet the real tension in terms of affordability centres on the supply of credit and the price of credit, interest rates, versus the demand for...
This is a really good video, Hyperbovian, but there's just not really room for me to say anything because he's, you know, just giving a very concise, precise overview of everything. Home prices usually aren't considered in interest rates, no. Because they're in the CPI, yeah. We'll finish seeing what he has to say anyway, I guess. But yeah, it's just a bit hard to sort of give commentary. I don't know if anyone's interested because you're the only one in chat, Hyperbovian, you're the only one chatting.
Property stimulated by tax breaks or investors, migration and first-time buyers. In fact, the supply side issues are often misrepresented by the construction sector, who always want to build more, politicians who want to show they are, quote, addressing affordability, unquote, and the finance sector who want to lend more, it being the most profitable game in town. In addition, no government wants...
Alright, so we'll sum it up. Housing became a commodity in Australia because greedy boomers saw it as a way to make a lot of money. Housing prices have become commodities and speculative assets, I guess, is a way to put it. And yeah, people there's probably possibly the good part of 2 generations that are never going to own their own homes, and it ain't great out there. Rent is so expensive. Like, whenever I think about moving back to Sydney, because I'm like, oh, I miss Sydney so much. All I have to do is go on realestate.com, put in rent, put in literally any suburb in Sydney, look at the rent prices and go, yeah, I can't afford that. And then I'm like, you know what? Melbourne is fine. Melbourne is fine. I'll stay here. I can have a roof over my head here. Can I like live in like the nicest house in Melbourne? No. Can I live in the nicest suburb? No. Can I even afford to live in a house? No. but you know, we do what we can. It's all right. Honestly, I'm just happy to have food in my tummy and a roof over my head. I'm very grateful for that. So, because I know not everyone has that. So, I don't know. What are you going to do? I mean, it sucks. We should all be able to have homes. We should all be able to do these things. But it's just the way the world is now. It's just a combination of bad policy and greedy people colliding, I guess. People buy houses over businesses. Well, yeah, they just grow exponentially. And that's the other thing. Like, boomers expect the government to keep their house prices growing exponentially. And then there's no way even saving for a deposit you can keep up, because 20% of, you know, 2 million, 20% of a million becomes 20% of 1.5. You know, once you save up that money, it just keeps on going and going and going. Big loans, dual income, need childcare subsidy. Yeah, I know. It's a mess. It's a mess. It is a mess out there. Should we talk about Johnny Somali? Ugh. Anybody got any plans for the weekend, guys? What are we going to get up to this weekend? Anything interesting? Anything good? Anyone gonna go? We're all in the southern hemisphere, right? So it's winter for all of us. Anyone gonna do anything fun? I don't know what people do for fun. I only go out at night because I'll get sick otherwise. Your mate cancelled his kid's birthday because of hand, foot, and mouth? Yeah. Yeah, that sucks. Foot and mouth is the one that cows get. Hand, foot, and mouth is the one that kids get pretty regularly at like daycares and stuff. Foot and mouth is like the bovine disease that we keep out of Australia. That's why we have like strict quarantine and stuff. But yeah, they're really easy to get mixed up. I think I work in child protection. I've worked in child protection, and even I get them mixed up sometimes. So yeah, it's easy to do. Oh, I get what you're saying. You mean you hope it was foot and mouth? Yeah, he's not in Melbourne, is he? With that weird guy. In 20 minutes, the anvil firing starts. The anvil firing? Oh, yeah, I hope... Is it like a really young child? Because, yeah, I hope that is what it is then. But, yeah. That's rough, mate. I hope it's not one of those daycares. I think they're all in the western suburbs, the ones that are affected.
Trial of Sean John Combs P. Diddy is over, and there are already being comparisons made all across the internet and commentary.
Footscray. Oh, yeah, I think one of the ones might have been gunpowder under an anvil. Sounds explosive. Ricochet. Yeah, I think Footscray had one of the daycares that was affected. You were supposed to go down to Brisbane, but you had to cancel. Why can't I speak English? You had to cancel. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I've never been to Queensland. I've been like to the border. I've been to the Tweed River, but I've never been to the other side. Tired.
On that. But one interesting bit of commentary is Ramzi Khalid Ismail, aka Johnny Somali, comparing himself to Diddy and thinking he's going to get away with it. He's going to get off. We're going to talk about that today on The Legal Mindset, where we teach you.
I mean, he might get off, but it will be in jail. Ding, 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 ding. See what I did there? It's a joke. It's a joke. Who knows? We can send Johnny Somali some commissary money for baby oil. It might actually help him while he's in there. Trump is talking about pardoning Diddy. That is fucked up, Ricochet. That is fucked up. Even just seeing the video of what he did to that to Cassie, like when he was dragging her around that hotel lobby like a rag doll. Oh, that was so hard to watch. That was so horrible. Oh my goodness. It's just, yeah, that alone, just chuck that guy in the bin for that alone. Like, to do that to another human being, like, there's something wrong with your brain. Like, get out of society. Just take yourself out, put yourself in the bin. Goodbye. No more society for you.
To be your own judge. Of course, I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney who's been covering this from front to back in the Somali saga. And we are going deep on this one because this is a great example. And of course, I have a PP. I've got a PowerPoint here.
Legal Mindset was like, of course, I have a PP. And I'm like, where is this going? What are you doing with your PP, Mr. Legal Mindset? But he meant PowerPoint, guys. He meant PowerPoint. He said, I was like, where is this episode going? Put your PP away, Mr. Legal Mindset. That is for private times between you and your significant other. We do not need to see your PP. Thank you.
This is a great example of comparing the American and Korean systems and some of the fundamental differences that separate Somali and Diddy, and how this is going to be dealt with completely differently in Korea, and how this trial has already gone down and will continue to go down much differently than the trial of Sean John Combs, aka Diddy, in the United States. So in case you lived under a rock and you didn't know anything about this, you can, of course, check out my other Fast Facts video on what went down with the Diddy verdict. That's out there. That'll get you updated in less than 10 minutes on what happened. But the verdict is in for Diddy. Diddy was convicted on 2 counts related to prostitution. But on the other 3 counts out of 5, he was not guilty. So out of 5, only guilty on 2 out of those 5. Many perceive this as him getting off, quote unquote, although I will say he still was found guilty. So ultimately, he will serve some time behind bars. He's not just going to get away with nothing at all.
Yeah, it is better than an acquittal.
Could have happened to him.
Some amount of time served is better than an acquittal. Like, if they just acquitted him of all the charges, they wouldn't be able to retry him, right? And look, maybe that was the prosecution's game plan, right? Maybe they were like, we go for these really big charges and smaller charges. So even if the jury doesn't convict, doesn't find a guilty verdict on the greater charges, then at least we get him on the smaller charges, right? Because they wouldn't be able to retry him, right? Because double jeopardy, it's the same as in the Westminster common law systems as well. You can't be tried for the same crime twice. Like, the only way you get a retrial is like appellant courts. So like if you appeal a sentence, but that's only the accused that can appeal a sentence. The state can't try you twice. So yeah, it's unless something really egregious happens, like jury tampering, bribery, that type of stuff, that would be the only time like that the state would retry someone. So maybe that was like the prosecution's sort of game plan. We'll shoot for the moon, and even if we miss, we'll land amongst the stars. Doesn't that sound beautiful? But they got him on the smaller charges, so they did end up landing amongst the stars. Good for them, I guess.
If he was convicted on all 5 charges, he could have faced life in prison. Yes, it is relatively light to that. And one person who is celebrating, despite many people being upset about this, angry about the Diddy decision, one person who's celebrating is indeed Johnny Somali. This is a tweet from Johnny Somali, and I always love how it got no likes or responses or anything else, but saying, Diddy got off and I am next. So Ramsey Khalid Ismail thinking he is going to get off like Diddy. Now, one of the reasons behind this is because Diddy is actually one of his heroes. And you can see him here. Here's a video of him where he is actually talking to a minor in Israel. And this is something I reviewed in conjunction with him being investigated in Korea under the Child Welfare Act for...
What's with all these nonces in society? Can we just send them all to an island? If you're a creep, go to the island, okay? Go to the island. I will take you there on a boat. They won't be interested in me because I'm an adult female. I will drive you there. I'll be safe because they're like, ooh, she's over the age of 18. Disgusting. And yes, I'll be safe. I'll be safe, guys. I volunteer to take them all to an island far, far away. They may or may not be habitable, and they may or may not have supplies. I don't know. They might have to eat each other. They might have to cannibalize each other. I don't know. They should have thought about that before they were creepy weirdos that are like children. Yeah, but Australians aren't PDF files, Joey. We're just, you know, we're just petty criminals. We are petty criminals. Okay, our island is an island of petty criminals. So, you know, we're just drunk. We're just drunk and we like to have a good time. And that is very different from being an island of nonces, which is where I'm going to take these weirdos.
Various improper behaviors with minors across really the world. But this is a very interesting statement by Ramsey Khalid Ismail. Well, listen to it.
I'm like B. Diddy, I'm like Epstein, I'm like R. Kelly, I don't care. For her, look at the pointer right here. For her, I go to prison. Age ain't nothing but a number, but a dime ain't nothing but a thing. Oh my God.
So he's talking to this minor. He's comparing himself to Epstein. He's comparing himself to Diddy. Once again, horrible stuff there. And what makes him even worse is, you know, he's dealing with minors here and he's having that behavior of minors. But you can see he views Epstein, he views Diddy as his heroes, as his icons, as people he looks up to. These are the type of people that Ramsey Khalid Ismail follows and tries to step in their footsteps. So with that, we want to quash any hope that he would have that he might get a similar outcome to Diddy and that the system might churn out the same results as Diddy. So let's go into that and some of those differences here. So the first thing that's the key difference between Diddy and RKI, Ramsey Khalid Ismail, is that they're charged with different crimes in different countries.
They did crimes in Australia and got sent to a tiny island, like a little jail island, like Port Jackson or something. I think there's one in Sydney Harbour, where there's like, they used to take people, if I'm remembering correctly. I might be remembering incorrectly. But yeah. You know you're bad when you get taken off the criminal island to an even smaller criminal island.
I mean, one of them is in the United States, one of them is in South Korea. These are different countries, and there's a various number of ways, which we'll go over today, how these countries are different. And the charges against Diddy were complex. They were very complex, in fact. They involved racketeering, they involved trafficking. These are things that require a state of mind, or what's called a mens rea. They're more difficult to prove than Somali's crimes. Almost all of Somali's crimes, in fact, I will say all of Somali's current crimes, do not require a mens rea. They don't require a specific state of mind. So the prosecutors do not have to prove that at all. All they have to prove is, did something happen? If yes, he is guilty. And in those cases, all the things happen. And just to kind of walk through the straightforward nature of RKI's crimes and the complex nature of Diddy's, let's talk about that. So racketeering, that requires a conspiracy, right? So a criminal enterprise, a criminal conspiracy, which once again, you have to put together this complex vision, this complex system that shows, hey, this is a criminal enterprise. And on top of that, you had sex trafficking. which once again he was not guilty on that, so not convicted of that. Sex trafficking involves a state of mind. You have to knowingly do something and have a reckless disregard in your head. So you have to have a level of knowledge. It is always more difficult to prove crimes that involve that. Now, he was guilty on the prostitution charges, but in Somali's mind, Diddy got off. So we're focusing on the ones where he's not guilty, all of which are complex charges. Now let's turn to Ramzi Khalid Ismail's charges, not Diddy's. These are Diddy's. So let's go to him. Obstruction of business, the Minor Crimes Act, the deepfakes.
Well, he's already got enough. He's already pled guilty to enough of these things. And like the deep fake stuff with Bong Bong and stuff, like that's the deep fake material exists and he distributed it. It's like he's maybe Lotte World, but then Lotte World are one of the top 5 conglomerates in Korea. Like they've got the money. They've got the money to take him to town, down to Pound Town. And not in the way Johnny Somali likes it, because these are full-grown men in suits. And apparently he likes little girls. So
those 3 crimes are very, very straightforward. The Minor Crimes Act, essentially, if you've annoyed somebody, if you've done something troublesome, you're going to be guilty. And he's already pled guilty to that. So in the Korean system, he is already a criminal because he has pled guilty to those crimes, as well as 2 counts of obstruction of business. And as I've talked about before, obstruction of business only tests if the business operations, the normal business operations were disrupted. If the answer is yes, you are guilty of obstruction of business. It's very simple. It does not require a state of mind or particular intent or whatever else. If you disrupted the business, that's really it. You're guilty of that. Now, he has pled not guilty to 1 obstruction charge as well as 2 deepfakes. But once again, the deepfakes also very, very simple. Did you distribute them? Did you show them on your stream?
yes, he did. Yes.
If the answer is yes, then you're done. And the simple answer to those is
yeah, I don't see him getting off on any of these charges unless like Lotte World are like, oh, we can't be bothered. But they have so much money and they have like lawyers that work for them directly who are on salaries, assumedly. So it's not even costing them money because they already have these people, at their beck and call. So yeah, why not? And it sends a strong message as well. It sends a strong message to other foreigners. Don't come to our country and F with us. We're not going to take it. So yeah, you smell. That's the takeaway, I guess.
Is yes. There is not a complicated analysis here. This isn't something that requires you to delve into the mind of Ramzi Khalid Ismail, the very twisted, warped mind of that little shrimp. No, you just have to say, did a thing happen? Yes, he's guilty. That's it. That's all. So let's move on. The next one is the nature of the system. There's 2 very different systems at play here, and this is very important for people to understand. The U.S. system puts a lot of weight on trial, and because of that, in the United States, we do a lot of focus on trial analysis, and we have a lot of commentators, including fellow law tubers out there on the internet, like myself, that will comment on trials and will comment on what goes down at trial. But in the international system, particularly in Korea, trial is not always very important. In fact, the case is often decided before trial. It's often won or lost before trial. And the Korean system is heavy on pre-trial. It's heavy on the law enforcement investigation, the prosecutor's interview. But if it gets to trial, you are pretty much doomed. The conviction rate is 95% plus. In many years, it's even 98%, 99%. But just as a
yeah, it's like that across most of Asia. It is. Don't ever go to Asia and if you like partaking in recreational substances, stay away from them when you're on holidays, because not Korea, they are really tough on drugs, but they're not going to kill you. But there are countries where they'll put you to death if you are found partaking in certain substances. Notably Indonesia. A lot of Australians get caught up in Indonesia and Thailand and places like that, serving life sentences or facing death penalties because they couldn't wait till they got home to have a choof, Like, calm down, everyone.
Generalism, 95% safe cutoff there. That is not mirrored in the United States. That is not a one-for-one as the United States, particularly with both local and federal systems combined. So when you look at this in the Korean context, if you want to put your resources in the right place, if you want to settle, if you want to end this, you have to fight the fight before you get charged, before it goes to trial, before you have an information filed on you and it proceeds to trial. You have to kill this at the police investigation stage or the prosecutor stage. The problem for Johnny Somali is that he did not cooperate with the police or the prosecutors. He fought them at every turn. He annoyed them. He kept committing crimes. He harassed them. He prank called them. He was nasty to them. He cursed at them. He did racial slurs to the police, to the judge. He made threats.
Yeah, he doesn't do himself any favors. Definitely not a good way to ingratiate people, to engender some good feeling, some good faith. It's not the way to do it. Yeah, he's shown nothing but disrespect the whole time he's been there, and they got to enjoy. As Paul Keating would say, they got to enjoy doing him slowly. Yeah, boy.
Threats to the judge and his mother. Throughout the process, he has been nothing but antagonistic towards the prosecutor, the police, even the judge. And because of that, because of all that antagonism, he really misfocused his resources. Now, I'm not going to comment on the level of competency of his attorney, Johnny Somali, Ramsey Cleet Ismail's attorney, because he does now have a paid private attorney. However, I can say this, he does not have the funding that Diddy did to buy a high-tier level lawyer, like the white glove lawyer of...
Oh yeah, there's no way. Apparently his like solicitor or attorney or lawyer or whatever you want to call it. You know, we say solicitor in Australia. But yeah, his legal practitioner, if you will, is a tax lawyer. Who, you know, which, you know, is a skilled area of law in and of itself, but he's obviously not used to defending accused people in criminal court, which is, you know, a whole separate thing. Although Korea has like its civil and criminal stuff kind of intertwined, so it's like very interesting from what I've gathered from watching like K-dramas. Like if someone offends against you, they can offer you money to settle. Like what? Like at the police station, they can just like say they'll pay you like 10 million won or something, and you're like, okay, and then that's that. What?
Korea, he doesn't simply have those funds, and even if he did, even the best lawyer in Korea doesn't necessarily change the conviction rate. That doesn't really move the needle in terms of that conviction. So because he misapplied his resources and because really he focused on better...
What happened?
Call Hank, that's of course his top ally, Hank Yu there, in a parody of Better Call Saul. Because he trusted Hank in the pre-trial phase, because Hank was really acting as his attorney. Even we have a quote from Hank where Hank says, well, I'm kind of like his representation too. Well, that's the problem. Hank led you down this path of not taking anything seriously until it was too late, until it was at trial. And because Hank led you down this path, you are now in deep, deep trouble, Ramsey, because you didn't take anything seriously until it was too late. You really took it lightly, and now you know you're in deep trouble, and you're going to be in Korea at this trial for a long time with severe consequences. We even now have a victim that's come up and put out a petition for severe punishment. So that's all thanks to Hank not, you know, giving you the right advice and not nipping this in the bud.
And judges always take victim impact statements and things like that into consideration. Like typically, especially like in Australia, the jury will do its deliberations, and then before sentencing, the judge will hear victim impact statements, and then we'll take those into account when sentencing. So that's the time to really like appeal to the judge as a victim, because obviously like as a victim of crime, to appeal to the judge and really push home that you want a strong sentence. But yeah, Korea is a very different ball game to what we have here. But yeah, they take like causing stress or anxiety to somebody in Korea like very, very seriously. So, and look, this is all stuff I've learned from K-drama, guys. So Although I am hoping to go to Korea next year. So please tell all your friends to subscribe to and like all of my channels and all of my thingies and watch all of my stuff so I can make money, so I can go to Korea and wear a cute hanbok and walk around, and go to Japan and wear a cute kimono and walk around. It's buy lots of Hello Kitty stuff. It's gonna be great. Hit up Olive Young in Korea, get some of that good skincare, get my colors done, find out what season I am, and am I an autumn or a spring? I don't know. It's like all the important questions, guys. Need to know the answers. I need to know.
Let's also talk about the nature of the trial. The trial in the US, the trial that Diddy faced and the trial that Ramsey faced are completely different. In the US system, we almost exclusively use juries for criminal trials. Whereas in the Korean system, they typically have a single judge. A jury is very, very rare. So we go from two systems, one where a jury is the presumption in the United States, the general presumption, versus where a jury is exceptional. It's for major cases. And he will not have, Ramsey Cletus will not have at any point a jury. That is not going to happen for him. Because of that, there is no ability to influence the emotion of the jury. One big power that probably came into play in the Diddy case is with effective defense counsel, they would play on the emotions of the jury. They would work the jury. They would make the jury more sympathetic towards Diddy. That cannot happen here. The judge is really not going to have any sympathetic emotion based on how Johnny acts in court. And moreover, he's threatened the judge. So that's something that the one single fact finder, the judge, has to take into account that, hey,
in Japan, there's super on defamation of character. You can get sued even if you say facts that are true. Yeah, I've seen that as well. Yeah, it's really interesting how culture, like especially cultures where like honor and your reputation are really important. Not that they're not important here, but obviously like historically, if you brought, like, imagine if, like, historically, if you brought shame to your family, you would solve the puzzle of Sudoku, that type of thing. It's, yeah, it's pretty hardcore over there, I think. They still have, like, the remnants of that culture. What's it called? Bushido? Is that what it's called in Japan? I think it's called Bushido. Bushido code. Bushido, meaning way of the warrior, was a strict code of conduct followed by samurai warriors in feudal Japan. It emphasized virtues like righteousness, courage, benevolence, respect, honesty, honor, loyalty, and self-control. These principles guided their behavior both on and off the battlefield, shaping their values and actions. But yeah, I think it's something akin to that, right?
Hey, this guy has threatened you and your family. He's threatened your mother, right? So that's the only person he could appeal to, and he screwed that up. Not that the judge would be impartial in any way. This judge seems very fair, straightforward, all business. And Korean judges also do not like split decisions. They prefer either all guilty or not guilty. So in the Diddy case, we had a split decision. He was guilty on 2 accounts, and he was not guilty on 3. In this, it's more likely he's...
I think the state was just throwing whatever they could get. If they could get like the bigger charges like racketeering and the bigger like RICO charges, trafficking charges, all of that, that's great. But then if they couldn't, at least he would be convicted on some of the lesser charges. I think that seems to be what was probably the game plan. That would be my guess.
Guilty on all than anything else. And since he's already pled guilty to 4 counts, the judge is more likely to look at the others and say, yeah, you're probably guilty. It's very rare in Korea to see it split, see the charges split. Although it can happen, this is the tendency of the 2 systems. And, you know, we see here in the court sketches, and of course, there are no cameras in federal courtrooms in the United States, but in the Diddy trial, you know, you can see the emotions playing in terms of Diddy himself, his attorneys, the witness on the stand playing video, the judge.
Am I going to visit any onsens? Oh my goodness, Ricochet, yes, I am going to visit some onsens, 100%. Because of my lupus, I have such incredibly bad joint pain, and I also have, so my primary diagnosis is lupus, but I have a secondary diagnosis, so, of rheumatoid arthritis, so my joints are always so sore, and like baths are my favorite thing. Like I am always in the bath. Actually, I had a Shakira moment from Spirited Away today. I was like cleaning my bathtub out, and I was like, oh, I feel like just when the river spirit came and Zen had to clean out the bath. That's how I felt. But yeah, I want to go. I don't think I'll be able to go to like any of the bigger onsens, because I think like places like Ginza Onsen and stuff, like the really like popular ones, I think you have to book a few years in advance to like go to those places. But I'm thinking of booking like Roikan? I don't know how to spell it, don't know how to say it. Yeah, the traditional inns where they have like private onsen, because I think I would rather do like the private onsen, because even when I'm in Europe, I'm like, oh, these people are way too comfortable with being naked around each other. I'm like, please, sir, you have to buy me dinner first. I don't need I know it's like sex segregated, so I know I would only be Ryoikan. Yeah, because there's a Y in there. That's why it always confuses me. Ryoikan. Is that right? Ryoikan. I don't know. Yeah. Because I think I would feel a lot more comfortable with yeah, just me and myself by myself naked. I don't want to be naked in front of like a bunch of other women I don't know. It feels a bit weird. So yeah, I want to do like private onsen for sure. That sounds great. And yeah, I want like Korean bath. I've been to a Korean bathhouse before, but in Australia. That was really nice. Really relaxing. Really enjoyed it. Really nice. Yeah, can't wait to see lots of koi. Koi are my favorite. That's so cool. It's gonna be so nice. But we'll see if I get the money together. If I don't, well, whatever. I'll just wait until I do. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But I think I'm on track. I think I'll get there. I want to maybe go for my birthday, but my birthday's in March, and I think that's like peak season. I don't want to go like Sakura season. I would rather go like late autumn when it's starting to get cold, because the UV is lower. Plus, I think the autumn leaves in Asia are really beautiful, like all the reds and oranges and yellows. There's a YouTube channel that reviews a lot of onsens. I've probably seen it. There is one in Melbourne, and it is $1,800 to go to the Japanese bathhouse in Melbourne. And it's $1,800 to rent it for the night. Like you stay there and it's $1,800, and it's like $200 and something to rent for the hour. And when you think about it, you can get Jetstar return flights to Japan for $450. So yeah, because I looked at going for my birthday, and I was like, well, I can actually go and stay a few nights in Japan, including flights, for that much. So why wouldn't I just go to Japan? Like Jetstar literally do like return for like $600. Yeah, just go to actual Japan, 100%. There's no way I'm it looks beautiful, but it's not even a real hot spring. It's just like a fake one, and they're charging all that money. It's like, no, sir, I will not be paying you that money. No.
The way this impacts the jury, the way this would impact the jury is absolutely massive and cannot be understated. The last thing is sentencing, and this is a huge difference between the Korean system and the US system. Once again, they are not the same. Korea does not sentence exactly like the United States. And one thing is, Diddy has mitigating circumstances. And I know that sounds crazy. We'll talk about them in a second, but he has mitigating circumstances. He also has aggravating circumstances like the number of victims at play, etc., some of the strength of the evidence. But RKI has almost exclusively aggravating factors. In fact,
he literally chronicled and archived him committing crimes. Hi, let me live stream my crimes to everybody, where people actively hate me and clip me doing crimes. What could possibly go wrong? This guy, like, the psychology of Johnny Somali, truly, truly interesting. Interesting little man he is. Likes questionably aged whammons. Likes to commit crime on camera, likes to dig a hole to the molten center of the earth. When he's in trouble, he just keeps on digging until he hits that earth's core. He just can't help himself. It's I don't know, Johnny. Get some help.
We went through the factors for the sentencing guidelines in Korea on one of my past streams, and I've got a fast facts as well on that. And we couldn't find a single mitigating.
Hyperboviant, I want Diddy and Johnny Somali to both go to jail because they're both awful and they both deserve to go to jail. And the other timeline, no, because I mean, Diddy's still going to jail. He's still going to serve substantial time unless Trump pardons him. But if Trump pardons him, I think he's going to like turn those QAnon weirdos against him because they'll think he's a part of like the, you know, the pedo PDF rings or whatever, the adrenochrome. You know, those people that think like Trump is like here to like kill the Illuminati or whatever. They're like gonna, yeah.
Factor, not a single factor that went in Ramzi Khalid Ismail's favor. In fact, under the Korean system, because he has multiple crimes and he's pled guilty already, he's already a repeat offender because he's committed those multiple crimes. So he already comes in.
Jimmy Salami, he doesn't deserve to have the name Salami in his name because salami is delicious. Salami is a tasty treat that we can all enjoy. And Johnny Somali is not tasty. He is disgusting. General Salami died. Oh no. Rest in peace, General Salami.
As a repeat offender, unlike Diddy in the perception of the Korean sentencing guidelines. The other
he was a bad guy, but I liked his name. Aww.
Thing is that Ramzi is not going to get any credit for time served. Now, right now, he's running around freely with Hank, and he's bragging about that. He's having a grand old time. Well, guess what? The Korean system is smart. It knows that if it holds you, not only do they have to pay for your food and pay for your clothing, but they often have to give you credit for time served. They have to give you credit against that sentence. Well, they don't do that. And because they're not...
Oh, that General Salami. I thought you were talking about like someone from a cartoon or something, like Samurai Pizza Cat's General Salami. I don't know. That didn't twig for me. Sorry.
Not going to do that. It's going to look much different. So here we have the Diddy sentencing table, and I do explain this more in detail on my other video on the Diddy verdict. If you want to see that, go check that video out. You can also like this video if you're liking that content. But to explain this quickly, if you have no criminal history, you're going to be in this first category, category 1 for no criminal history. Diddy did not have a previous criminal history. Then for the crime in which he was convicted, the prostitution charge, that is at level 14. That's the power level on this offense level here on this chart. So you go to 14 and you go 15 to 21, which is months of imprisonment. So Diddy, under the guidelines, is the average is 15 to 21 months minus he served 10 months in jail already. So you have to deduct that. So the expected average would be 5 to 11 months. Now, mind you, the judge, just like in Korea, this is a similarity in Korea, the judge does have leeway to move that up. And the judge...
Oh, I thought he was going to go to jail for like a long time. When I saw 511, I assumed they meant years. Is his power level over 8,000? Yes, it is over 8,000. Where's that meme? Over 8,000 meme. Over 9,000. It was originally over 8,000. There was a change made in the English dub. There you go, guys. 9,000 was the English. See. We've got the subs and we've got the dubs, guys. I always watch subbed if I can. Because they always use American voice actors. It always does my head in. Like, the Japanese and Korean voice actors always just have way nicer voices. And I was like, yeah, I would rather listen to that. Sounds nicer.
May very well move that up. But the guess, based on the guidelines, is 5 to 11 months. We've also done the same analysis in Johnny Somali's case. Let's look at that. And we've done it several times. This is the sentencing chart for Johnny Somali. And we already know, because of the petition for severe punishment, that he is not going to get a mitigated sentence, a mitigated minimum. He's probably not going to get the default either. He's probably going to be in the aggravated category. So when we look at how much time he's going to serve, it's probably between 4 years and 3 months and 12 years. So the guidelines right now would say between 4 years and 3 months or 12 years. That is a massive, massive, massive difference between Johnny Somali and Diddy, because the difference between facing 5 to 11 months versus 4 years to 12 years is absolutely huge. And I think that's something that Johnny needs to come to terms with. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about both of these trials? Which one were you really interested in following? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll catch you.
I am a massive, 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 massive Sailor Moon fangirl, hyperbovian. Absolutely. Yeah, that is my jam. My, like, on my YouTube, like, for like homepage is just like Sailor Moon shorts, because I watch them all the time. Today I watched a video, it's like, which Sailor Scout is your star sign? And I was like, ooh, who am I gonna be? And I was Sailor Neptune, I think. Yeah. Because I'm Pisces, and yeah. It was, yeah. That is how it went. But yeah, I love Sailor Moon. I own so much Sailor Moon crap. Yeah, I love it. I have like the boxed manga, like the special like edition manga somewhere. Just crazy Sailor Moon fan.
On the next one.
Crystal was good. Yeah, Crystal's supposed to be closer to the manga than like the original series, because it's just like way more condensed, and you get to like, they condense like 600 episodes into like 20 or something nuts. But because they take out like all the monster of the week sort of stuff, so you just get the main story, and it's just closer to the manga. I watched like the first part of Sailor Moon Crystal, but I haven't there's a new season of Card Captors too, if you still keep up with Clamp. Yeah, I mainly like Yuko Ichihara, like the Time Witch. I mainly like her the best, so I like that whole side spin-off, like the XXX Holic. I did watch like the Reservoir Chronicles, but I just didn't enjoy it as much as I enjoyed XXX Holic, so yeah, I just like sexy magical women. What can I say? They're my bread and butter. I like them. Look, I'm in my own YouTube. Yay. Well, it is getting late, guys, and I am in pain. So, oh wow, I did this whole 2.5 hours without taking a break. Go me, look at me. YouTube versus Australia. We are removing YouTube from Australia. No, you're not. No, you're not. Don't do that to me. Well, yeah, I think I might say goodnight, and I might try and stream for 3 or 4 hours tomorrow. Oh, someone just followed. Game. Okay, let's try this again. Dyslexia. Game Gam BTV. I hope that's how you say your name. Welcome. Brad, the timing? Yeah, just as I'm about to head off. Sorry. Oh, that's a safety inquiry into under 16s? Oh, yeah, that's fine. As long as I'm allowed on the internet as an adult. I might act like a child, but I am actually an adult, so I should be right. Yeah, I think for the most part, the spicy stuff on YouTube is like 18 plus anyway, right? You have to like verify that you're over 18. I mean, it's the same as to access any other adult content on the internet, right? They age restrict it. So, whoa. Anyway, guys. Guys, this goes to a perfect segue to a YouTube NordVPN ad. If NordVPN ever want to sponsor me, hey guys, I'm available, please. Give me money. I have bills to pay. All right, well, yeah, come join us next time. I will be back here tomorrow, Game Gamby TV. And yeah. A lot of people still post adult content to the YouTube kids. Yeah, that's messed up. There are a lot of weirdos out there. All right, guys. Well, it's been swell, but the swelling has gone down. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.